Good evening and welcome to another round of GTR Monday, live here on simbroadcast.tv. We're here at the beautiful, sunny Jamaican circuit of Fern Bay Gold, and we are going to see a lot of GT2 racing. We've got a little break in GT2 racing, and now it has returned. Alongside me tonight is Peter Butcher. Hello, Pete.
Hi, Thilo. How are you doing?
I'm good. So qualifying has just started. So we're today at Fern Bay Gold. It is a nice sixth round of the championship. We are only showing you a handful of races, but this is now the second GT2 race on the calendar. The first one was 4 weeks ago at Blackwood Historic Reversed. And GT2 class slightly different to what we've seen in NDR. We will see in a bit when we show you the class structure. The way it goes, Fern Bay Gold is one of the circuits that was chosen before the season to take place at this day. It's a 3.5 kilometer track, 2.2 miles, with nice 12 turns and some hairy chicanes along the way, especially turn 2 and turn 12 can be devastating. But it should be some really nice racing today here.
So yeah, qualifying is underway, and we will head to the track just now. We've got some times coming in already, and there's lots and lots and lots of cars out there setting times, Thilo.
Yeah, we currently have the True Alpha on pole with such a flamboyant name. Who do you guess is it?
Joni Katila.
Yes, indeed. So he's now showing off in a big way, it seems. He's currently leading in front of Isaac Price, some 1.3 tenths of a second. They are followed by Conquest Racing's Gorgelani, as Vitautas Lacunas is heading for pole position with a 1:15.9. He's driving the FXR. Some 3 tenths between him and the True Alpha.
Yeah, and Isaac Price is taken to the grid as well. That's fun to see. So a very strong top three here in qualifying. 15 minutes to go. And yeah, we should be seeing some blistering times with these three up here. FE3, we saw it last week in RTFR in the Fox for what ended up being a pretty thrilling race. The True Alpha, Joni Katila, ended up winning that one by almost 10 seconds over Fragmaster's Number, who is currently down in 11th in FZR. So some way off the top. But you have to say, at the moment, Joni Katila himself is also some way off the top, some 3 tenths of a second off of Vitautas Lagutskas, and Isaac Price just behind, a further 10th behind Joni.
So all 3 cars from the GTR class are on the track and within the top 5, which is a nice sight. Taking a look now. We see now the 3 cars that are available to the drivers on the screen. What you might notice if you look carefully, all cars have 1% less than they would have in an NDR series GT2 race, so slightly more powerful cars. Some 5 to 7 brake horsepower, that is, that 1%. So maybe that's also a reason why Lacunas takes pole position with the FXR, although this track in general has not too long straights and some pretty curves. So I think that might always be the case that the FXR is it's competitive here.
So we have 31 cars on track. I'm told that in the interim, Thilo, in the 4 rounds we haven't broadcast since round 1, that we've had pretty full grids here for MRC Monday, which is great to hear. We expect to see a packed grid as we get our 32nd driver onto the timing screens. Pit lane racer down there in 32nd at the moment in his FXR. And it's an FXR on pole position currently as we look at it. Tassos Lagutskas with his FXR has... in fact, he's improved his time, Thilo. He's gone a further 10th ahead of Joni Katila, who is now 3.8 tenths off pole.
Yeah, remarkable. We have seen him driving the FXR in the GT2 Challenge by Near Dimension Racing earlier this year for sporadic appearances, and yeah, he always is strong in this car. So, not too much of a surprise.
As we watch Isaac Price leave the pit lane for another set of qualifying attempts, probably just the one, as most of these drivers will have their qualifying setup geared towards 1 out lap and 1 hot lap, so the tyres are at their peak throughout the hot lap. Gojki, that's a good qualifying session for him, and Leo for the FR team in P5. William Lima, someone who you'd expect to be pretty rapid, is driving an FZR, which is a bit strange. I thought he would have used the XRR, but anyway, there we are. He's in P6. Remember, these cars are GT2s, so they're a little bit less powerful than the big brother, the GT1 class, but still, Thilo, plenty of power for FE3.
Indeed, around 360 brake horsepower for these cars, and while they have these big wings that definitely impact the drivability through the corners in a positive way, it is still not over on the downforce side. So these cars still have enough power to create some hairy situations at the exit of corners, for example. They're not as tame as the GT3s, which we are going to see in 5 weeks' time here on Sim Broadcast TV for the 11th round of the GTR Monday series, organized by MRC.
Liaison Unite has popped up into the top 5. He's just gone P2, 2 tenths off of pole in his FZR. So we have 3 different classes of, well, 3 different cars, sorry, in the top 3, which is great. You don't often see that, do you, in GT2s? But here we are. We have an FXR, an FZR, and an XRR representing the top 3 at the moment. And Isaac pushed down to P4 with that lap by Liaison Unite. Victor Veloso, another driver you'd expect to be improving all the time. Let's see what he manages. He's currently P14 at the moment, 1.26 seconds off of Vitasas Lagutskas's time. He's coming up to the start-finish, and he is starting a lap, I think. So, yeah, let's ride on board with the Brazilian driver and see what he can manage on a lap of, the track.
He's going through this first chicane on pretty much only one line, and then it's going into this flowing section through the palm trees onto the bridge. Here, drivers are missing an exit curb. Now accelerating onto the bridge, braking right between 150-meter boards. He goes slightly wide and it boards his...
What's the lap? Okay, there we are. We'll have to find someone else to pick up on for a lap. We're looking at Haki Roku, who's decided he's going to just leave his car on the grass. That's going to want to get moved. Sim Jintas, P21 for air support. Driving an air attack livery though. And look at all these cars trying to leave the pit lane, a whole gaggle of them. Hopefully they don't get in the way of the cars trying to set a lap down into turn 1. We're watching Carlos, who is in P19 at the moment. We have 33 times on the board, Thilo, and 8 minutes 20 left for anybody who hasn't yet got a lap on the board.
We also have a packed server.
Isaac's going on to a hot lap.
I'm a bit disappointed. His car does not have a Yoni face.
Don't tempt him. He's been, he's finally driving a livery without any faces on it. We should be thankful. There's a car rejoins just in front of him. That was close. Luckily, doesn't seem to have hampered his lap time, or at least this sector time. He heads down through the sweepers that Thilo was talking about before. Can he make it further around his lap than whoever it was we were watching before? Victor. Down to the end of this long bridge straight, and then a 90 left into the final complex of corners. This is a seriously tricky double left-hander in any car, but the big wings and big splitter on the XRR GT2, no problem, flat out. Double left-hander underneath the bridge. Then we have a right-hander and a 180-degree left. Seriously tricky sets of corners, especially with the big curves on the entry. Nice and wide, using all the runoff, which someone on the broadcast the other day called a bonus tarmac or something, which I quite liked. And then over this final chicane, big curbs, you want to avoid the final one, it'll unsettle the car. Onto the home straight, 4 tenths off pole, and Isaac improves to be only 3 tenths off, but remains P4. He hasn't got long left.
No, he hasn't. And as you were talking about taking the final chicane volley, the car in front of him, the black XRR of 136 miles per hour, what a nickname. He definitely took this trying with the speed of his nickname. Currently in the picture we have the, again, not green, race green car of Redbot.
I mean, there's more green on that car than there usually is, to be fair to him.
It's true.
We've got a bit of a traffic jam forming. Jeff in there trying to get out of the way of all the cars behind him. Isaac behind him isn't on a lap, so doesn't have to yield to him, but does. Jeff in will be trying to set up a lap to improve on P13 currently, the race green driver.
He had a remarkable race in Kyoto 5 weeks ago, with all the tire drama unfolding in the dying stages of this race.
Yeah, what do we think the tyre strategy is going to be as we approach the latter stages of the race here today, Thilo? I mean, last time out at Kyoto, it was a fast sweeping track. This track is less fast, but more sweeping, I would say. So, what's the situation with the tyres?
I honestly believe it won't be as drastic as we've seen in Kyoto. Kyoto had the further disadvantage that there were 2 different speed tracks joined together with Kyoto National and Kyoto Grand Prix, which also meant that there always had to be some compromise in the setup. Here you can use the setups developed throughout the years, pretty much. And although there is a sweeping section, it is not as high speed, so I guess the load on the tire is slightly less, as we see one of the NG Virtual Racing cars going through the final end of this sweeping section. I would say the biggest load on the right-hand side tires is here in this double left-hander. But again, it does not really compare to the loads through, for example, that corner in Kyoto.
No, absolutely right, and I think it's worth thinking about what you mentioned before about setups. Yes, the last race we watched was obviously an amalgamation of two tracks at Kyoto. Today, the setups the drivers will be using, even though they're GT2 setups, they'll be tried and tested. And whatever strategy the drivers choose, they're probably going to be a lot more confident with it.
I just saw Rendo from Fredmasters entering the track just for a brief moment. He has not set a time yet, so he has to hurry up. 3 minutes 30 seconds left in the session.
Yeah, if he leaves the pits now, he'll have a chance for one, maybe two flying laps, but that really is it. Not a lot of time left. It's not a long lap, but you still have to be out on the track at the right time. And this is the dying moments of a 20-minute qualifying session ahead of round 6 of GTR Monday, the second season of GTR Monday for 2021. Here we can see Rando, in fact, Thilo. He's driving around trying to get a lap in for Fragmaster in his XRR as he heads onto the bridge. Yeah, he's got to nail this outlap because when he crosses the line, he'll only have about maybe a minute and a half left, something like that. Maybe just slightly more, closer to 2 minutes. But anyway, that'll be enough for just one flying lap for Rando.
Yeah, but don't forget how... Well, in what high regards Number uses to speak of Rendo and Rendo's tire performances. Maybe he...
Yeah, maybe when he's practiced. This doesn't look like an attempt, a track he's maybe practiced as much. If this is his final attempt and it's the dying seconds of qualifying. Anyway, he's winding up to start a lap. We know how good he is when he's in the race, but he's got to get into the race, so he's got to set a lap time. Onto the start finish he comes, over the back of the grid. It's going to be a long grid. A lot of drivers have qualified for this race, and Rando goes onto a lap. We'll see how he does.
I'd say very conservatively into turn 1. You might be right, not a lot of practice for him.
No, it looks like maybe an attempt to just get onto the grid and see what happens in this GTR Monday event.
Yeah. We see Timo Soini now.
And Rando seems to have given up. Not sure what's going on there. That was, I think that was Rando moving over for Soini, was it?
No, he went slightly wide and had a bit of oversteer.
He's gone off again. I don't know if he'll make the grid.
Ouch.
He hit the wall. Yeah. And he's aborted his run, so Rando might not even take the start. Anyway, yes, Timo Soini, he will make the start. He's in P28 at the moment. Of the 34 cars that have laid down a lap time, 1 minute to go in the session. Into the double left, Timo goes a bit wide. But anyway, won't matter. Full drive, sticking him to the road there with those big wings. And huge tyres. Drivers absolutely love this circuit, and there's a reason why, especially in these high downforce cars. A bit of a roller coaster, especially the first sector, or first two sectors rather. Over that final curve Timo goes. You want to avoid that in the race because you'll end up getting a lot of damage on your suspension. Across the line he comes, and no improvement on that run.
Yeah, it's some 1.5 seconds slower than his previous fastest lap. By the way, speaking of his fastest lap, he is as fast as 136 miles per hour. The driver in P29. Same lap time.
It's nice to see a huge spread of different cars on offer. It does look like the XRR is the favourite though, as it usually is on these sorts of events. But we still have the top three all using different cars. The Kunas 0.02 of a second ahead of Yoni, and then Unite, as we see Expabluski for MRC losing it at the double left, ran out of grip and ran out of track as well. Simjintas just coming around to end his lap. He'll be one of the final cars to set a lap time, I believe. He's currently in P23, just over 1.5 seconds off of Legutskas's pole time. Through the final chicane he goes, lots of curb, and launches the car over the final. That's not a legit attempt. Yeah, it was a bit of a desperate lunge for the final sector, and no improvement. Would probably not have been allowed anyway with that huge cut at the end. But anyway, that seems to have drawn our session to a close. Only a couple of times left to, a couple of drivers left to set times, I think. Wait for those drivers to come across the line. And is everybody, Thilo?
Yeah, seems like. I wanted to say True Alpha is crossing the line, but he was just on an outlap, so probably a little test of his setup as we see the qualifying results on screen. Yes, Motorsports Vitautas Lacunas in pole position with his FXR 1:15.79, set rather early in the session, was not beaten by anyone, although the True Alpha Ioniq GTR for World Class Lines got close, only 0.02 of a second between those two, so this is already very, very promising sign. In third position, we've got Sidus Unite. Still weird to say that, to be honest.
Yeah, it is a bit weird.
Actually, on the same time as Isaac Price. Different cars. Unite in the FZR and Isaac in the XRR. They are followed by the Energy Virtual Racing duo of Victor Velosa and William Lima. Conquest Racing's Gotchke in 7th, then the Furtive Racing Leo and Hernan in 8th and 9th. 10th is Fragmaster's Number. 11th, Argentina Turismo's Yerre Loco, followed by MRC's Texas. Then Born to Race Antonio in the 13th position, followed by Expalutski.
Close enough.
Then 15th position, Race Green's Redbot in front of MRC Kick. Team America Vinsu in 17th, Carlos in 18th. The second best Race Green, only Mandula in 19th position, so he's going to have some work to do in this GT2 race. 20th is Jari Katia, completing the top 20 in the list. As we move to the second page with Jaroslav Donalek in 21st, Minvi in 22nd, Sim Jintas driving for air support in 23rd, Kit in 24th, Hachiroku in 25th, followed by Iron Donny, 136 miles per hour in 27th position. He's followed by the MRC duo of Darido and Ark. 30th is Timo Soini, followed by the Viaduct Racing Lukota. 32nd position for Argentina Turismo's Han. Then Pit Lane Racer in 33rd and Canobra in 34th.
We have 5 minutes to go until the start of the race, Thilo. I wonder if we can refresh the viewers on the the length of race that we are expecting here today.
So it's going to be about a 1 hour 15 to 1 hour 20 minute race. 61 laps. On this 3.5 kilometer track, as you already have seen in the qualifying session. The track is not the widest at places, so it's going to be a really, especially when the lapping starts, it's going to be a really interesting affair. Hopefully not as bad as what we've seen this weekend in Monaco with the historic Grand Prix.
Yeah, I mean, it is a tight and twisty track. We're going to see some lapping. There's a huge void of times, of course, and especially with this many cars, you just end up with lapping anyway. But I wonder how soon it will happen. Hopefully, people will respect those blue flags. We tend to have a very respectful grid turning up to these regular races, so I don't foresee too much bother as long as the drivers are patient and choose sensible places to get out of the way. It is a thin track and these are quick cars, and they're quite big cars as well.
Indeed. But MRC is again helped by New Dimension Racing, beginning with this round, I believe, for the remainder of GTR Monday on race control. So Ricky is not the only one in the race control room. He's joined by Jonathan Palmer. So Deco and Ricky, the duo for race direction today.
We're hearing that a number of drivers have joined the server. They'll be allowed to race at the discretion of race control. So we'll maybe have a few more drivers to get us closer to that full grid, Thilo. The more the merrier, I say, in races like this, especially if the drivers that are joining have a proven track record, so to speak.
Indeed, so full grid here means 38 cars. If you are now confused, it doesn't live for speed allow 40 cars. Yes, but the MRC GTR Mondays are using a safety car start and also safety car procedures throughout the race. So 2 spots are taken by the FZ5 safety car, driven by Bottegas from MRC. And the rescue car driven by Michael Malik.
Yes, a name we should have realised wasn't driving around in the race, probably. But there we are. Apparently Atian is the safety car, Thilo. Bottegas is racing.
Sorry.
But yes, Michael Malik is working on support today. So it's a shame not to see him drive. I know he's handy in the GTRs, but there you are. He drives. He's in the MRC team, so he has to help out with the with the organising of the race. Only fair.
Yes, especially with MRC now firmly in the organising business as well these days.
Yeah, they're organising a lot of things. Obviously, we had the BF1 League late last year, and now we're seeing a regular Monday series by them in the form of the GTRs. Obviously, they have their Saturday series, FBM Saturday, immensely popular Formula BMW League, organised every Saturday. Information about that on the Live for Speed forum if you're interested. And check out all the other MRC events that they are organising. There's a lot of them. They're doing a great job. And they've put on this race for us each Monday to enjoy. And we're streaming 6 of them, including today's at Fern Bay Gold, round number 6 of the championship. I think we're just moments away, Thilo, for our rolling start.
Indeed. So the race direction is now briefing the drivers how to behave on the formation lap and when to get into the formation. So the crucial part of the rolling start. Shenanigans happen on the server, so it might take a few seconds more.
A few seconds we have. because we need it to all be correct so that we can get this race underway with all the drivers there knowing what they're doing. It's okay to be a couple of minutes late as long as we don't have any disasters on the grid. We like to see these races getting away cleanly. We should be enjoying just the one lap, just the one out lap, or rolling up lap, should we say. And then it's a rolling start that we know grid start, but it looks like they've sorted themselves out and they're on the track, Thilo.
Yes, this time around a much shorter out lap. At Kyoto it took 6 minutes, I believe. So we can expect the race start to happen within the next 3 minutes here. As Atian pulls away and Lacunas, what are you doing? Oh, Lacunas is waiting for the lights, unlike the safety car did. So now the grid pulls away. Wait there. So Atien's FZ5 up in front in this MotoGP safety car livery. He's now closely followed by the much bigger FXR. Huge car behind him. Reminds me of this BMW GTLM pick from Daytona a couple of years ago. This meme.
Yeah, the FC5 is a big car, but when you see it being followed by the likes of the FXR, you realise it's not the biggest car, certainly. All the cars weaving around in the background, trying to get some heat in their tyres before the rolling start gets underway.
Looks a bit like the rush hour I had tomorrow on the way to work. So Lacunas in the right side, he will be joined on the left side by the true Alpha Ioni Katia.
The field really do need to catch up. There's a big void between the front runners and the rest of the field. Atian hasn't hung around on his pace lap, so the guys behind do need to get into order. But here we have Lacunas then leading Ioni Katia side by side out of the final corner. Thilo, take it away.
We're waiting for the flag. They are having 80 kilometers per hour as the green flag waves, and we're on the way. Lacunas keeps the inside. They are 3 wide now. Isaac to the very outside. Contact with Ioni.
Yes, but here we go then through the brilliant first sector, the sweeping chicane. Everyone looks good up the hill so far. We've got a bit of shenanigans in the background. Yeah, we've got cars in the tyres.
Pit lane racer Carlos.
Yeah, he's stuck, so we may have... Oh no, he's pitted. So we could have had a trouble there, but we have been spared it. Lagutskas then is running around at the front of this race as we get our lap count reset to 1 for the start of the race. And all of the drivers then weave their way around on lap 1.
Through the first through the first lap, through the final sector they go. Still densely packed, the top 7 within 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, really densely packed, and we've got Unite under threat from Victor Veloso. The top 3 have somewhat broken away. The top 2 certainly. Isaac has made the jump on the first lap.
Oh, Yanni in the slipstream of Lacunas. Lacunas defending the inside there.
Yeah, these 3 haven't scrapped on the same bit of tarmac and live for speed in quite a while. It's been a while since we saw all 3 of the, I guess the power 3, I kind of want to call them in LFS at the moment, and Unite there for company. With a bit of a gap now between him and Isaac. We're on board with Lacunas, looking back towards Yanni Catilla in his XRR, driving for world-class lines, and just behind him, the red and black car, the Gira Racing livery on Isaac Price's XRR.
Dust kicking up there because there is no inside curb. Just a bit of dirt and the guardrails. As we lost one driver, Hachiroku has left the race.
The top 3 wiggle their way around the final sector, and they will be posting another lap on the board. I don't know what's going on with the lap count there. It seems like we've jumped about 3 laps, but anyway, the Kunas onto the home straight and across start finish. We're now seeing 62 laps, so they've shuffled things the other way around the race control. We're now going to see 62 laps, obviously, with the rolling start. Jaroslav Donelik side by side across the line with who is that? Is that Kid or is that? Looks like it's 136 mph.
Yeah, it's 136 mph.
And behind that is Mandula, who is some way down the grid, you have to say, in his FZR. Bright green FZR for today.
Not in his usual all-round.
Oh, hello.
Oh.
Yeah, just ahead of that was Kid, who went really wide. He's hit the wall, in fact. So, yeah, just ahead of that battle we were watching, Kid gets it all wrong onto the bridge, battling with Kig for Master Race Car. And Kid is now under threat from Jaroslav Donelik, his countryman. So the 2 Czech drivers on the track together again.
Yeah, they are around each other very often these days.
Yeah, they're quite fond of each other, aren't they, really? It's great.
Usually Michael Malek also joins them, from what I can tell. Always having the battle who's the best Czech in the race. Lacunas now having a half-second gap to Yanni, so he can breathe freely now, but they are already heading to some traffic ahead of them.
Already traffic, that
yeah,
is.
Bottas was on pit lane already. And he returned to the track just in front of the lead pack.
Okay, so the leaders already have to come under some sort of challenge. Bottas should make this pretty easy. But yeah, already lapping's happening for the lead 3. The Gutskas won't want to be held up here. There we are.
Number and Aaron had to come together at sorts in the first chicane.
Yeah, Number's way down the order. He's got a huge front left damage on that car, look. Very strange. And not the damage you want to have at all, especially not there on the lap and not this far into a 60-odd lap race. So, yeah, miserable afternoon for the Sim Broadcasts commentators, Zdravko Topolniak, driving for Fragmasters in the number 2 car.
By the way, speaking of some broadcasts, Adam joined out of nowhere and is currently racing in 27th position, so he was trading in his MX-5 for an FZR GT2.
Adam competing in the SMRC Esports Spring Cup that we are broadcasting here every second Wednesday, part of our iRacing coverage. And Adam sporting that lovely Sim Broadcast livery, joining late into the race. Wonderful stuff. But anyway, back to our lead 3. Lagutskas leads Yanni Catilla, leads Isaac Price. And we have a driver with a run, apparently. Yaroloco on Mimv into the left-hander off the back straight. Didn't make the move quite stick there. Yaroloco with some front damage, so he's been giving some drivers a little bit of a push around, it looks like. And there again, we see him bumping Mimv a little bit. Let's try and get past him, not repaint his rear bumper as he forces Mimv off the road a bit there.
You could see it from miles away that this... Whoa! Minvi with a very lucky rejoin.
Yeah, well, Yaroloco lost a place there to Sim Jintas while he was doing that, so Sim Jintas won't want to see Yaroloco behind him, and there's all sorts of squabbling going on down the field behind.
Yeah, Mandula to the inside of Minvi. Yeah. Oh, Yaroloco spun.
Just as I point the camera away
Just
from
in
him,
front of them.
put it in the wall. So that car is what we like to call in the business as dead. He'll want to bring that back to the pit lane, and yeah, that's not the way you want your afternoon to go, is it? Yaroloco, has to be said, has certainly been entertaining us recently.
Kit is flying. No, it's Minvi flying.
Mimv. And he's bailed it. Thank goodness.
Oh, and Yaroloco's flying as well. Oh dear. But he's...
Chaos.
Well, wait, what? I think the internet played some tricks on me, because I saw Yaroloco flying, and then he's on the straight. Like, nothing happened apart from his earlier problems.
Number's having a bit of a recovery drive already. He's battling an FXR, of pit lane racer. He hasn't bothered putting that car in the pit lane, so he must think that it's okay to drive for now, at least. I wonder whether there's any splitter rubbing or something like that, but yeah, aerodynamic damage is not simulated in Need for Speed, but apparently Number is sporting some toe damage on all 4 of the corners of that car, so it can't be that comfortable to drive, but he's just deciding to manage it. He doesn't want to spend the time in the pit lane yet. Mandula and Kid going at it, Thilo.
Yes, Mandula now back in the slipstream of Kid. Not too wise to try go side by side through the sweepers. And now Kid has the advantage, it seems like, because yeah, although these cars are pulling a hole through the air, it's not big enough for Mandula to catch up to Kid's rear diffuser. And in this section, the FXR's four-wheel drive is helping it quite a bit. Ooh, as Kid misses his line. So Mandula's splitter is now up into Kid's diffuser for a second, then Kid pulls away with all-wheel power.
But he's going to come under threat here. I think Mandula's got to run. Is he going to go for it?
No,
it's come too late. Yeah, it's quite a short straight when you're doing these speeds. Even at GT2 speeds, that straight is not that long. You really do have to get right under the rear bumper of your opponent if you want to get past into turn 1 here at Fern Bay Gold. Into the sweepers we go once again. No passing here unless you're really brave. And this is where you want to be. You want to be underneath the rear wing as you come out onto the bridge. You want to gain on the driver ahead of you quite slowly, because when you go through the next right-hander, all of that downforce you lose because of the slipstreaming. And I don't think he's close enough again. This is going to be a great battle for these two.
Mandula had to tap the brakes because he was losing too much downforce on the sweepers. And especially on the final corner, there is dirt on the outside, and you really don't want to put even one tire onto that dirty stuff there. Sim Jintas is now on the track from Jaroslav Donalek side by side through the Crashmas corner, I want to call it.
Yeah, the bull ring corner.
The bull ring corner. Veloso now and Vinzu fighting.
Oh yes, Brazilians or South Americans versus South Americans, should I say? And there we go. There's a spin as the Team America driver tags Veloso, and around he goes. Yeah, EVR do not like being in that sort of situation, do they? We see it more often than not, unfortunately. But yes, a rare error there from the EBR driver, Victor Veloso, immediately being bumped around a little bit by Kig.
As Victor, why are you rejoining directly in front of me?
Gojki overtook Hernan, and now Hernan for Furtive Racing is going to get straight back past. Now, Furtive Racing, Thilo, this is a team who impressed us a lot, didn't they, at the 6 hour?
Yes, they were pretty much unknown. I think it's fair to say unknown in the Western GTR world.
Yeah.
Obviously, they were driving the South American Liver Speed Championships for quite a while. But yeah, from a Western standpoint, you didn't really take notice of them.
No, until they came back from a lap down in the 6 hour to finish, well, really, really high. It was really impressive. They impressed us throughout the race, and here today putting on a great show, P6 and P8 at the moment on the road, as we've got Number on his recovery drive, already inside the top 30 again, and he's battling right behind Lakota for Viaduct Czech Racing. It's going to be a simple pass on the straight, Thilo.
Yes, it will be, and just seeing the livery of Lakota, usually he drives a British race green Aston Martin livery in these GTR races with the FZR. Today, I think, I don't know what livery that is, but something different. Some colors you don't see too often.
Oh, reminiscent of the old Savage SimSports liveries.
Yeah, indeed.
We used to see. I like that color combination. It's like toffee and chocolate.
Oh, yeah, the loco!
Ooh. Okay. Is your loco a lap down? Because that's uncomfortable viewing.
Yeah, the loco was on the same lap, apparently.
Well, yes. Lakota has been, fired into the wall, I think it's safe to say, by Aeroloco there.
Virtual safety car in 5-3-2.
He's got absolutely enormous left front toe damage on that car, and it's just, it's a nightmare to try and get back. But I think that's a case of driving too fast in a machine doesn't want to drive that fast.
Kid goes into the pit lane. Syngenta's in the pit lane. They are now getting somewhat of a free stop, unless they interfere with one another.
Yes, certainly. That's a very good time to pit. It's not a long pit lane here, so the advantage is a little bit minimal. These guys will not enjoy seeing cars pitting. Luckily, most of the fast part of the field had already gone through, Thilo, so that won't have affected too much the top three in this race. But look how close the top three are. The Gutskas and Yoni Katila are only within, only a couple of car lengths of each other. Isaac has dropped back a little bit. Fastest fingers on the buzzers for
stand by for restart. And they are green again. Back to race speed.
There we go then. We are racing once again. A few cars have gone down the pit lane.
Big battle between Lima and Leo for 5th position. The Energy Virtual Racing driver had to defend hard into the penultimate braking zone.
Yeah, and that Furtive Racing car, even though it has a big old turbo in it, will be wanting to get past this car on the straight. Won't be close enough this time around. The FZR doesn't have a turbo, so all that power you get immediately when you put your foot on the throttle out the final corner. And that is an advantage here, for sure, if you line your car up right. So William will be able to defend for a little bit from the Furtive Racing car of Leo. But for how long?
Good question. By the way, this livery Lima is driving, an old genuine racing GTR Masters livery, if I'm not mistaken. So, what a throwback.
Ian for Argentina Turismo sends one up the inside of World Class Lions Timu Soini, and Timu Soini now has Number for company. Number in 24th, would you believe? I think that's another few places gained. I think he gained a couple of places on people who pitted though. Number did pit as well actually, but didn't repair the damage. range.
Oh, he's too close now, and Soini's but Soini misses the line, so this opens the opportunity now, or not. No, it doesn't look like that, because Soin... Okay, so... Okay, never mind.
Number poked the bear, and the bear moved. Yeah, hold the dummy, and he moves aside for Number. So there we go. Number up to P23 on his recovery. Can he get inside the top 20? He'll need to get there pretty quick if he wants to set his sights on the top 15. How close the top 3 are, and then look at the void behind. There's a 5-second gap between these three, and Sidus's Unite. Isaac Price currently holds the fastest lap.
By the way, speaking of the top 20, someone who arrived there is some broadcasts Adam, who is now trying to set his target on air support Simjintas.
And if my eyes didn't deceive me, Hernan managed to get past Gojlani in the sweepers, which is not the place you normally see an overtake happen. But I saw Gojki got quite offline, a little bit of a wobble. And speaking of wobbles, it looks like Texas and Team America's Vinzu are going at it as well. Texas driving that blue XRR there. And Gojki getting very sideways again. You realise he's in a race event today?
Oh, side-by-side action through the bullring corner. Jaroslav Danalek now trying to get around Ex-Palutsky.
Yeah, Ex-Palutsky normally drives for MRC, has an MRC skin on but no tag, and that looked pretty easy down into the hairpin there. There's been a crash. We've got Unite in the wall, and I'm not sure who that was.
Leo is the other car.
Leo as well. So those two have come together in a big way, and I think that's race over actually for Unite. Look at the front of that car, completely ruined.
Yes, it's completely red. The damper.
And this is where I would love a replay, as we've got Gojki and Hernan going at it side by side. Great racing actually. A little bit of contact, I think, and Texas had to get on the brakes, so a little bit of a traffic jam going on. But yes, Vinsu and sorry, not Vinsu. Unite and Leo. That is what has happened there. Probably side-by-side action onto the bridge, I imagine.
Ooh, Antonio was brave to go so close through around the outside of the broken car of Nico Pontola.
Yeah, Nico is cutting the final course. Yeah,
move.
Very good idea. Get it in the pit lane. See what you can recover from this race, Nico. But unlucky, whatever's happened there. Clearly, not ideal. We have someone going off to have a look at the replay to find out what's happening. The top three. Yeah, less than 3/4 of a second basically separating these three. Isaac Price currently in the best seat in the house. You don't want to be the one leading a pack like this, really. You end up spending most of your time looking behind you. But Isaac has these two exactly where he wants them. For now, he will be quite content sitting behind, letting them do all the hard work, punching the holes in the air for him.
And also punching the hole through the traffic in front of him.
Yes,
so we got a yellow flag as someone leaves the pit lane. That's Unite. So Unite lost the whole lap through.
He was stationary for a long time on the bridge. So yeah, not ideal for him. He's right on board.
Although he rejoined right where he was before the accident. It's a shame. Down in 29th position. We have a drive-through penalty for not obeying the virtual safety car speed limit for Aaron.
Fair enough. Slap on the wrist there. And we have news of what happened to Nico. Apparently it was a back marker involved, Canobra, on the racing line. Nico tagged them and apparently rolled it. And at some point must have collected Leo amongst all of it or something. But there we are. a back marker, unfortunately, causing or being involved. I'm not sure whether it was actually the cause directly, but anyway, Nico involved in back marker traffic, and that basically ends his race. He's down in 29th.
Looking at Leo's car, it looks like it was the try to create a hatchback version of the XRR. He is slowly caught by Born to Race's Antonio and Gotchki and the whole group behind them.
Yeah, a car we've not seen driving for quite a while. Certainly not on a sim broadcast stream. Is Born to Race Antonio, currently P6. He's just ahead of the Conquest Racing car of Gojki there.
Oh, and Aaron crossed the Pitex blend line and is now invited for a second visit into the pit lane.
Yeah, penalties breed penalties sometimes, but it is a bit embarrassing to get a penalty for the same thing you just got a penalty for.
No, he did not. He did for virtual safety car infringement.
Oh, sorry, infringements, yeah. Well, my point still stands. It is embarrassing to get a penalty for something you already got a penalty for. We've seen it before. Hopefully we don't see it today. But there we are, two different penalties going his way. Yoni will be enjoying this. He's in the middle of a Gutskas Isaac Price sandwich as we hear Hernan has crashed the car. A very strange place to crash a car. He must have got on the grass on the brakes.
Texas is off.
All manner of happenings happening down at the final sector. That's Victor Veloso now looking to get past Texas. Yep, Texas gives him the place. Figures that that car that's got a lot of damage on it. He's going to have to come in he has come in the pit lane. That is a disaster for Texas this afternoon. Lots of
drive-through penalty on top.
Oh dear, lots of people falling off the road this afternoon. Not for these three so far. Thankfully, we have a very much a titanic battle on in prospect here, Thilo, between three of the fastest guys in LFS. And indeed sim racing at the moment.
Indeed, just to get 1 point home, Number is now in the top 20 due to Texas' unfortunate crash. As we go side by side for the lead, with the slight contact between Lacunas and the World Class Lion car.
Yeah, so I thought Yoni would be quite happy to sit behind Lacunas, but these three are, they're mates. They like to have a good race. I do reckon that Lagutskas must get a little bit of, a little bit of shade thrown at him for driving the bus by the other two.
And if I interpret the tire graphics right, it looks like that the XRR tires are in better shape right now. So I believe they are pushing in front. Seeing now through the rear window of Lacunas as they approach quite some traffic, 3 cars in front of them. Donnie, Ian for AT, and they are battling in front of them.
Yeah, Unite's there as well, isn't he? Oh no, Unite's behind, sorry. Yeah, so these guys are battling. This is going to be uncomfortable for the leaders as they come through. We'll go to the wide shot as they filter their way through this lovely section of the road, but they do not want to get in the way of this battle. Yes, they have their own battle, but they do not want to hold up the leaders, and there's contact, and he's in the wall. Lacunas in the wall, and that's going to be a disaster for his race. You don't like to see it, do you?
Car is still in one piece, so that's that.
Yeah, and the battle they were following with Donny completely neutralised. But yeah, you just don't like to see it. Yeah.
Okay, they are playing games.
There we are. So they didn't like seeing that, and they've let Lacunas back through. I mean, yeah, you like to see that, to be honest. It's a big gap to give up. A big gap to give up. But anyway, order is restored at the front. Isaac Price and Yoni Couture have slowed down and waited for Lacunas. These three are just out there having a bit of fun at this point.
They are also in their own league, so they can do it without consequences for their respective races.
Yeah, I mean, it keeps the race alive for us. It's a little bit synthetic, but we'll take it. And let's hope they put on a show for us for the rest of the race, and we don't get any more drama like that happening. Yarda's going for a move. Yarda's doing really well today, actually. P7 for the Czech driver. And yeah, that's Redbot for Race Green in P8 behind him. The two Race Green teammates now together on the timing tower. You can see the bright green car of Mandula there in the background, trying to catch up to these guys. I'm sure he can manage it. Mandula driving the FZR, that is not normal. I would have expected him to be driving the XR2. In fact, to be honest, I know why he's driving the XR2. It's got to be because he's just so bored of driving the XRR. He's been driving it all season in various series. Probably just fancies a change today.
It would be quite fitting to him. I mean, we know how he approaches the sim racing.
So now that they've let Lagutskas come through again, Yoni and Isaac are thinking, yeah, that's it. We're not giving you any more time in the sun. We're just going to get you now. So they were side by side briefly down into turn one, but Yoni has decided to back off a bit now and try and find another place somewhere else to pass him. So Donny's in another battle, or that was, I think. United's just dispatched him at this point. Donny went wide, and hopefully Donny can just move out of the way of the leaders when they catch up to him this time. And no more games at the front, hopefully, for the remainder of this race. United has 2 seconds to catch up to P20. That is Vinzu for Team America in the bus, entering the home straight with a bit of damage still on the front right.
So they are now pushing Iron Donny, who is wide into turn one.
Hernan side by side with the Argentina Turismo car of Ian, I think. Yeah, Ian. These two drivers from Argentina, so proof there that you can race wheel to wheel on a European server if you're from Argentina, which is quite remarkable, you have to say. There's a lot of distance being travelled by the packets there, but they were able to have a side by side battle through a chicane and still get away with it today.
Yeah, but
one of them.
Yes. The drama happens after they have passed each other. So
Isaac's been passed by Yoni, so Yoni's either made an error or something. But yeah, Isaac's in P2 now.
Isaac passed Yoni.
I think basically the message at the moment is take this front three with a pinch of salt. These guys are just here having fun in a league of their own. But at the end of the day, one of them can walk away with the win, and all three of them will want it. So it could be a NASCAR-styled bits in the air across the start-finish line situation if we get that far. Because all three of these guys will want to win. Like there's fun and games until lap 62, Thilo.
Yes, indeed. It has a little bit the feeling of some of the road cycling races, where they are pretty much helping each other until the very end.
More suited for kind of oval racing than FE3, but there we are. I'll accept it as an answer. They've got they've got 8 seconds between them and Lima. They can do what they want.
By the way, Lima was some 10-15 seconds behind earlier.
Yeah, I mean, they can't afford to wait for each other for well, every time. Lima will catch up to them eventually. 7 seconds, the gap registered on our timing screens. Lima needing to lap Yarikatila on his father as we head under the underpass on lap 25. This race really is getting a wriggle on, Thilo.
Indeed, it is. I mean, we are not even halfway through.
Lap 26 now as we watch Gojki, who was catching up to the back of Antonio, but has since dropped back a little bit. So stunted his pace a little bit, the Conquest Racing driver. Can he catch up to the back of that rapid FZR ahead of him? It remains to be seen. 1 second the gap as he went over the previous split time onto the home straight. I think that will have opened up slightly more. Yaroslav Donlik is behind this little battle and gaining, and he's already gapped Redbot by over a second. So Yaroslav Donlik is not out of this. He's certainly not out of this. He's come up the order a long way, and he's in P7, which is really, really impressive. If you're tuning in for the first time and you're wondering what on earth all this action is on screen, you're watching MRC's GTR Monday here on Sim Broadcasts in Live for Speed. Live for Speed is still alive and kicking, and yeah, there's plenty of racing action to get involved in, to watch. You can check out our calendar of the events that we cover at simbroadcasts.tv and also at lfs.net/leagues for all of the leagues that are happening in Live for Speed if you want to get involved. MRC does not require any sign-ups for their GTR Monday. Just turn up, set the qualifying time, and if you're in the top 40, you'll make the grid for the 1 hour and, 1 hour 20, 15, something like that races.
Yes, pro tip, the event password is published in the respective forum thread, so...
Yeah, which we didn't know until quite late. Or we got told but didn't. But anyway,
we better not talk about this. It's just embarrassing to us. Oh, a huge gaggle of cars in front of the 3 leaders, including Unite, who's getting around Vinsu there.
Yeah, the Team America car is going to be the first one to have to yield to the pink, white, and black car of Lacunas, who is being sized up by Isaac Price at the moment. Yeah, I mean, this is just sport for them, isn't it? Onto the home straight we come. Lacunas will pick up the slipstream. Hopefully the Team America car will get out of the way before T1. Just makes it easier for everybody. Kinda. Yeah.
It's sometimes really difficult to pick the right spot to let people pass. He's probably aware that there have now been a couple of penalties for blue flag infringements. Ooh,
You okay there?
Yes, there was suddenly a caramel-colored car in the middle of the road. Unite barely got around
tongue twister, that one. The Team America car made full use of that. Lakota moved offline to let everyone through, and the Team America car of Vinzo thought, well, you're hanging around, I'm just going to overtake you, as Yari Katila there in the FXR driving off the road. Lakota resumes in P20. So after all that lapping, the lead 3 remain the same, separated by a second, and the gap to William Lima, Thilo, up to, well, it's nearly over 10 seconds.
Yeah. Probably the traffic is not jumping out of the way quite as much as they do for the leaders.
Sure, but at the moment you wouldn't be mistaken for thinking that there was a GT1 class and a GT2 class. The GT1 class being about as big as LMP1 is at the moment. But anyway.
Yes. But the hypercars are coming.
Soon, TN.
Yes. I mean, if Chris Ford was here, he would start to pull some comparisons between hypercars and a certain lack of updates of a certain game we
Okay, well, Christopher probably is here somewhere. He's either asleep in a cupboard somewhere around the Sim Broadcast production office.
But he usually only gets awake once Owen is here in the booth.
Only awake when there's an NDR GT2 event happening. Well, this kind of is almost it's like a NDR event now. NDR throwing a helping hand to MRC to help them with some race direction and things like that. So why you can see the NDR logo in your timing tower today, as we see Yara doing some lapping, and also down the order, Kid in a fight with 136.
Was not as fast as his nickname suggests.
Brutal.
At least not into turn 1.
At least not here today. Yes, could possibly be that quick, given enough tarmac in a straight line, maybe.
Yeah, true.
They've got the leaders coming through, so hopefully Kid and 136 can let them through. We mentioned before we went into the racing that the lapping was going to come into play, and it certainly has, as Isaac Price tries to move around the outside of Lacunas. Doesn't work. He's going to go for the switchback. No, he's not. The Yes Motorsport liveried Tautas Lacunas lives to fight another day, but really, this battle doesn't mean anything until the final lap.
Yes, and don't forget, Isaac was also a Yes Motorsports driver.
Briefly, yes, in the TRR Championship dying rounds. When Yes Motorsport were throwing everything at trying to beat TRR at their own game, Isaac Price was brought along to the rescue, and it worked. It almost didn't work, but it worked.
It was one tense team battle there in this championship.
Yeah, TRR Championship 2020 will be remembered for a lot of things, and certainly the final few rounds with Yes Motorsport and TRR fighting it out will live in our memory. As we watch Mandula now, some half a second behind his teammate. I knew he'd catch up, and he has caught up. FZR Power versus FXR Power. There is only one winner in that scenario usually, unless your name's without Tesla Gutscast, in which case anything's possible, especially at Fern Bay. Furtive Racing versus 136 mile an hour now. Furtive Racing getting the job done. 136 losing out on a place. Down to 18th. But yes, let's watch Mandula. Let's see how quickly he can dispatch his teammate. Redbot is no slouch, don't forget, but Mandula in that FZR is putting his power to good use onto the back straight. He won't have a run here, but he'll have to size his teammate up through the final sector of the lap, try and get this move made so that he can try and chase after the blue car that's becoming bigger in his windscreen. That is Jaroslav Donlik. Who was that off? Was that Ian? That was Ian for Argentina Turismo, who rejoins in front of Victor Veloso there and gets going again. Still 28 runners in this race, Thilo.
Which is already a remarkable feat, thinking of the characteristics of the track and the drama we've seen in GTR racing throughout the years here. One of the biggest red flags in New Dimension racing history was thrown here for a big pile-up. But today, apart from this one virtual safety car situation, everything seems to be alright.
Yes, touch wood. It was a race of attrition last Tuesday in Roney's Tuesday Fun Race XL when we had the FOXs around here. We had 40 starters and I think 24 finishers, something like that. Low 20s finishing. So lots of carnage, lots of cars dropping off during the race. We have a battle on our hands between a South American and 136, who might be South American, I'm not sure. But anyway, there we are. Into turn 1, Vinsu making the move on 136.
Oh, number lost it right in front of the leaders, but she's pointing into the right direction again.
Oh dear, yes, and loses a place to not just Kid, but also to Unite. That'll sting. Number not having a great day out today. He had a fantastic week last week at this track in the Fox, but yeah, he prefers the Fox, I think, to the GTRs, as Unite swings past Kid and gets that move done. And yeah, I told you that Chris Ford was around here somewhere. Chris, Thilo, he's just popped up in the chat.
Oh, who would have guessed?
Is there going to be a move here? Is Isaac going to fancy getting this place back that he just lost to Yoni? Did he lose it? I can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter. These two are just having fun. Isaac does move back past Yoni. The Kunas is allowed a little bit of breathing room, but that's going to disappear again at some point soon. Our LMP1 class currently enjoying a 11-second lead over the GT2s. William Lima currently leading the GT2s in his FZR. Digest, of course, there are no LMP1s in this race, as Lima gets very, very squirrely there. Thilo, he's got a bit of traffic to contend with now. But yeah, it doesn't look like he's got the pace to contend with our front runners at the moment.
Yes, indeed. And a whole bunch of cars between Lima and the leaders.
Yada had to get on the brakes a bit because he caught Gojki right where he didn't want to. But now the battle from 6th down to 9 is well and truly alive. We've got Mandula at the back, fast charging in his FZR. Still hasn't managed to get past Redbot, remember. And Redbot has now caught up to the back of Yada when Yada was trying to get past Gojki. So this battle is probably the most exciting battle we've got outside the top 3. We will stick with it. We are riding on board with Gojki for Conquest Racing, a team that has enjoyed quite a lot of success throughout the years in Liver Speed, Thilo.
Yeah, Conquest Racing, one of the Master of Endurance participants. Lots of endurance racing feats with drivers like Jaban, like Gorgelani, like Vdaviats.
Yes. But anyway, we just saw some interesting stuff happen. We saw Gojki and Mandula bail to the pit lane, which means we are down from a 4-car battle to a 2-car battle. Oh yes, Petagoik as well.
Yes, I just
in
want
the chat
to say. Good, we have the Liver Speed historian CSF in the chat.
There's a good YouTube channel name there for Chris.
The Liver Speed historian.
LFS historian, yes, exactly. Maybe like a. Anyway, let's not tempt him. Redbot now will want to try and get past Yaroslav Donlik. Yaroslav has been gradually being reeled in by the FXR of Redbot. There's a furtive racing car. Was that going in the pits or was that getting out of the way? I think it was getting out of the way. Yes, getting out of the way. Shame that those guys aren't up at the front of the field anymore. They were. Leo and Hernan were right at the front. Was FR car nearly losing it into Redbot. Well held. Isaac's in the lead. I don't know what that means, but anyway, he has taken over the lead ahead of Lacunas now.
Safety car coming.
Okay, what's happened? Who's off?
I'm not sure.
Who is ailing? We have to find out who that is. So yeah, Isaac gets to
in virtual safety car.
And his number. So oh dear. Yes. Unsure as to what's happened there. Number is of course exempt from safety VSC speeds because of his damage. Won't be able to go any faster than it. But anyway, this is going to be a long session if if they're going to wait for this car to get back to the pits.
Oh, they are green again.
They're green again already. Okay, there we are. So just waiting for him to get out of the grass or wherever he was. Big gap between Isaac and Vitautas now. Of course, because the VSC was called on a straight, these two got on the anchors, but Isaac kind of rolled the car down to the limit. So that's what explains the big gap between P1 and P2 now, over 2 seconds. And I think it looks like
there is a car between them.
Yeah, it looks like Isaac is bored of playing fun and games with Vitautas and Catilla, and has decided that it's time to... I guess it is like cycle racing in a different respect now, Thilo. Velodrome racing, where you kind of psych your opponents out for 90% of the race, and then the last 10% is burning thighs. But yeah, Isaac's bolted early, should we say. 37 laps in, we have a different leader and a little bit of drama at the front.
Oh, people coming into the pits. Locuta and Number. As we've got a battle between Yeroloko and Kit. Kit, who fell back quite a bit. He's now one. Oh, Kit losing it! Spinning the car around.
Yeah, looping it right in front of Redbot. Yeah, not ideal that for Kid. Yaroslav really is showing him who's boss of the Czech drivers today, isn't he? Kid down in P20. And yeah, not having a great afternoon. He's looping the car on his own.
Yeah, he was having a better first half of the race. Fighting there for the honors of the best Czech.
Yeah, so we've got more cars off, and we've lost whoever that was in P9. What's happening here? There's lots of drama going on. We've got a Mandula in a battle with a Gojki. And Adam's somehow up into P6 on my timing screen, which means some more people have made pit stops.
Adam, who doesn't even realize that he was gifted a stage 1 subscription for our channel.
Is that
right as we speak?
I saw some stuff happening in the chat, and I'm not sure quite what was happening, but I think now that we've summoned Chris from the storage cupboard in the Sim Broadcast production office, he's decided to become Father Christmas in, what is it, April. Mandula now all over the back of Gojki again. And yeah, we do have some gaps, Thilo. There are some absolute gaps on the timing tower. We've got, a void in pit stops, should we say, as we have the top three yet to pit, Lima yet to pit, Antonio, I think...
Also yet to pit.
Yeah, also yet to pit, and then everybody else, I think, is pitted except Adam. Gojki's been down a pit lane, Mandula's pitted, Yaroslav's pitted, and Redbot's pitted. And yes, the gap actually between Redbot and Yaroslav is going up. So yes, there we go.
Oh, good point by Number. There is no required pit stop, so with these short intermissions, the virtual safety car, and some fuel saving, as I probably think the top three have been doing with all their games and fun and stuff.
Yeah, they could go without a stop.
Yeah.
Good point, but yeah, whether they will or not, I don't know. I mean, why would most of the field decide to pit if they can go to the end? Anyway, as Mandula has to yield to Isaac Price, and Gojki will at some point. Hopefully, Mandula doesn't lose too much time by doing that on a straight in such an obvious fashion. Gojki may lose less time by letting Isaac through around the 180-degree corner that's coming up. In fact, he does it beforehand. That's one way to do it.
Oh, yeah, Gojki P7 getting lapped.
Onto the home straight comes Mr. Isaac Price to start lap 41 of 62 in this race. And kind of a strange race, you have to say. The top three really are in a league of their own, more so than I've seen in quite a long time. William Lima, the nearest car, is some 14 seconds, 15 seconds now down the road to these guys. They are the power three, though. You cannot. You have to turn up, and you have to have done practice if you want to do any, shine a light to these guys. They are rapid. And they a bit scary to compete against sometimes because they are that much faster than they're so close on pace and so fast.
So after being lapped, Mandula is now in. Yeah, he needs. Oh, I just wanted to say he needs to look into the rearview mirror of Gotchki, but Gotchki nearly losing it.
Yeah, when Gojki let Isaac through, he did actually lose out the place to Mandula again. So Mandula gains in that particular situation, as we see there Lakota being lapped once again. So some lots and lots of lapping happening here at the moment, and the Kunas will want to get past Mandula before turn one. Mandula will have to let off and maybe no, it doesn't have to let Yoni through, but decides to anyway, and will be far enough ahead of Gojki that he won't need to worry. So yes, I think that battle is neutralised for the moment as well. 3.2 seconds separating Isaac Price from Kunas at the moment.
Yeah. Well, in a way, I really need to say that the race reminds me of the historic Grand Prix of yesterday, especially the race of the 74 to 77 GP cars, because in that race we saw Jean Alesi battling with Marco Werner, and they were pretty much a league on their own among all the gentleman drivers who bought some Formula 1 cars to go out on a track every now and then.
Yeah, I always wonder about those people who own an old Formula 1 car and how much fun it must be to be able to drive one around a track. But the logistics of owning one and the outright cost, and then I don't know, would you be scared to drive the thing? I guess not. If you've spent that much money on one, you wanna drive it. We've got Simgintas in the pits in an XRR. No sign of anyone pitting out of the top four at the moment. Whether we expect them to pit at all remains to be seen. Where will Simgintas rejoin? Probably behind or just in front of Hernan. So yeah, he'll stay P15 for now. Iron Donny, Unite, Vinzu, Leo, Redbot and Yard are ahead of him.
To answer your question, I think the most scary situation on such a historic Grand Prix is when you own the car and let someone else drive it.
Yeah, those people aren't right in the head, in my view.
Yeah, for example, John Alesi crashed the Niki Lauda 1977 Ferrari.
Yeah, that was I don't like watching those videos at all. There was a conversation yesterday where obviously we were talking about that accident, and then a load of other accidents of Aston Martins at Goodwood popped up, and I was like, oh dear, no. So yeah, not fun. Isaac's got a puncture. I heard it go, and lap 44. That is a long drive around the lap. Yoni Katila and the Gutskas will not be waiting. A flat spot has been developing on a tyre on Isaac's car. There's no way that he wouldn't have spotted that coming. I can't believe it. So yeah, Isaac has fallen foul to one of the unique features of LFS's tyre model, in that it simulates flat spots, and if you lock up the tyre and you continue to lock it up on the same patch, that patch will get thinner than all the others, and eventually it will go bang. And sometimes they're very difficult to spot because you can't see them in amongst all the patches that aren't flat spotted on the tyre graph. Sometimes you can feel it and you can see it in the speed. You can feel it through your force feedback if it's big enough. That is one of the brilliant things about LFS's tyre model, and Isaac Price has fallen foul. So he's probably out of it unless these two decide to do a silly thing and wait. But anyway, Lugutskas versus Yoni Katila, a straight fight now for the lead of round 6 of MRC GTR Monday. Cross-start finish to start lap 45. Almost into the last quarter of the race then. And I wonder if Yoni's now thinking, oof, have I got any flat spots anywhere? Or am I going to fall off the road in the next lap? As Isaac finally gets it round to the pit lane. Yeah, Thilo, FXR, XRR, likely to make a pit stop? After that, you'd say yes.
To be honest, I think they are going to have to. I mean, this early in the race with, to be honest, those three who could simply do whatever pace they wanted. They were still faster than the cars behind. And they were at some points of this race, just taking it easy. If one of those has a tire problem, I guess this will translate to other people even stronger.
Adam's come in the pits. He's got a bit of damage on that car as well. I wonder if he'll repair it. Nope, he's happy to carry on.
He actually had the damage right
Changed
from the start.
lead. Lugutskas has come in the pits, so he's left Yoni Katila to it. Yoni will decide to come in whenever he's ready, but Lacunas has pitted. He'll come out miles ahead of Isaac unless he decides to wait. And that looks like Yoni's catching up to the back of Viero Loco, the Argentina Turismo driver. That promotes William Lima to P2, and we think the FZR could go to the end on tyres. So has William played a blinder here? Is he just taking his time, and have I ruled him out unfairly? What do you reckon, Thilo? Can he do it? Definitive answers from my co-commentator Thilo Falkenberg.
Yes, that's the whole answer. No, we're still 18 laps away from the finish.
Yeah, we are. I mean, this has been thrown wide open by the fact that Isaac's only made his tyres last 44 laps. I mean, he must have been pushing pretty hard. I know we're just over an hour of racing, but we are only just over an hour of racing in GT2s. That strikes me as odd in terms of... I thought they'd have lasted longer, I'll be honest. But anyway, William Lima may have pulled a fast one here. He may be thinking about going to the end. We don't know, obviously. We can't read the minds of our drivers, but it should be possible for the FZR to go to the end. We're hearing. So if Yoni pits and William's got the tyres, could William Lima win the race? Who knows? We'll find out. That is the great thing about racing. They have a start, they have a middle, and they have an end. Most of them, anyway. And
races are like sausages. We learned today. Okay, sausages have two ends.
Instead of races. That was your point.
Never mind. Getting late on a Monday evening. Commentators starting to discuss sausages. Well, one of them is.
Yeah, I was going to say, the German one is talking about sausages. We're watching Yoni Katila, who's using the pseudonym The True Alpha. I mean, if he doesn't convert this to a win, then it'll look a bit of a thing. Anyway, here he comes through the chicane. And yeah, he's on his own now, Tino. He's got no one to play with. So what does he do? Does he think about the rest of the race? Just go for it. So we've got a fight. We've got Adam versus Leo, Simbroadcast versus Furtive Racing, and Adam is through into P10.
And behind them, Vinsu is also looking at this battle, maybe hoping to get into the 11th position. But Adam's performance is really remarkable. He started the race from
the back
and is now in 10th position.
Yeah, he definitely missed the memo about going to the end, but he did only just turn up, so he's just here for fun. As we see another world-class Lions car going off, that'll be, is that Soini? Yeah, Soini off on the grass. He's been in that grass a lot this race, just deciding to move out of the way of people who are laps ahead of him. Yeah. His teammate, Yoni, currently showing everyone how it's done at the moment. 19 seconds ahead of William Lima, but we don't know how long William's going on those tyres. If he goes to the end and Yoni can... Well, Yoni's not going to come out of the pit lane ahead of William if he changes tyres. I mean, he might. It'll be close, but I doubt it. William is only 6 seconds ahead of Legutskas at the moment.
Well, if it wasn't William in second position, but Rendo or Pedro Picanco, we would have a strong suspicion that they would try to go through it to the end.
Yeah, Pedro Picanco and Rando are tyre specialists, you're right, but you know, there's always room on that pedestal for more. Will he put on a show for us today? We've got Gozki versus Mandula. These two were together when that gaggle of four separated into two sets of two at the pit stops. Mandula trying to stay ahead of, by the looks of it, of Gozki, unless he's already just got through. Yeah, he's trying to stay ahead of Gozki. Coming up against a back marker. That'll be pit lane racer. Down in 22nd place as he loses the car, in fact, I think. Yeah, needs to be careful when he rejoins. He doesn't come in front of anybody. Yoni Katilla coming around the final sequence of bends. I do expect him to come into the pit lane. It looks like Lacunas has got ahead of Lima. So did Lima pit, or what's gone on there? Because there's now a big gap. Yeah, Lima's pitted, so Lima's gone in. That brings an end to our speculation. He is, however, still ahead of Isaac Price by 1.8 seconds. So could he shake up the podium, I reckon? Can he stay ahead of Isaac?
That's going to be a tough battle.
Will be a tough battle indeed. Adam's now, well, he's just firmly ahead of
Yoni was in the pits and he gets out in first, but just barely, as Lacunas is into the braking zone. Yoni keeps the lead.
Yeah, by the smallest of margins. He couldn't have afforded anything more than that. So it would have been side by side and could have been carnage. So we have a battle for the lead again. Isaac Price is pretty much out of it, you'd say, and he's quite some way away. 20 seconds actually, Thilo. That's massive.
Yes, I mean, it's pretty massive what pace the leaders are going. Now Yoni has to go through a pack of 4 cars. That's the Team America car, that's a Furtive Racing car, and also a Sim Broadcast car.
Yeah, they're all battling as well, which doesn't help. Almost contact there between Yoni and the FR car. We've got Team America car, like you said. We've got Adam there, battling away with Redbot. Adam has a run apparently, so let's have a look. Side by side with Redbot. These guys do not want to squabble for too long. They have the leaders coming through. But Adam, crucially, ahead of Redbot, and side by side the 2 FXRs. And Vinzu gets it as well. But Redbot, Redbot! Heavy on the brakes, and he's taken Yoni out. That was not where you want to be slamming the brakes on, right in front of the leaders. That looked to me like a panic brake. Maybe expected Yoni to fire it down the inside, but you don't. You do not like to see that at the chicane. Redbot will look back at that with his well, he won't look back fondly on that at all. That's not one of his best moments at all. I wonder whether Yoni's got any dragging bodywork as a result
Doesn't
of
look
that
like
one.
it.
No, it
It's
looks okay.
still going through the corner quite well.
It's a horrible place to meet a back marker, but you just don't expect them to be right on the racing line with their brakes on. You just don't expect it, Thilo.
Yes, I guess that's the biggest issue, being lapped, to really pick the place where you can let someone pass well. I mean, at such... Oh, Yanni's nearly flipping it.
I wouldn't be surprised if he feels like he can have fun for the rest of the race. I wouldn't be surprised if he pulls to the pits and retires the car.
He's going to get joined by Lima and Price in just a few seconds, it seems.
Yeah, it's a shame we've been denied again. We've been denied a battle for the lead. But yeah, I do wonder what was going through Redbot's head. I don't know what he was planning. Whether he thought that Yoni would try and send it around the outside or on the inside. But yeah, we'll have to ask him. It's impossible to go inside the mind of a driver and whatever they do in the heat of the moment. It looks like Lacunas is repaying the favour. In fact, he is going very slowly. So he's got a lot of slowing down to do if he wants to let Yoni catch up. That'll be 12 seconds of waiting. In fact, this is the second time this has happened this race.
Yes, and again, the three will be grouped together
reunited.
as Isaac just passed Lima.
Okie dokie. So yes, it does look, in fact, as though...
Oh, we lost connection to Redbot.
Oh no, so yeah, Redbot's gone. The Indian driver there suffering from, at the end of the day, an internet problem. So yes, after Lagutskas got caught up in backmarker trouble, and Yoni and Isaac waited for him at the beginning of the race, Lagutskas has returned the favour and is
They're not waiting for Isaac.
No, Isaac lost it on his own, didn't he? He got the puncture, so yeah, that wasn't as a fault of backmarkers. Yeah. So Lacunas wants to make this a fair fight and has waited for Yoni, and has he's now decided that's quite enough waiting. I'm going to disappear again.
Yeah, that's fair as well.
Absolutely, didn't have to wait. He can do what he wants. He's leading the race. They can have whatever fun they want out there. At the end of the day, they have been in a class of their own the entire race. They've had accidents between them, and they're still the top three. Just shows you the caliber of driver of Lacunas, Yoni, and Isaac.
But imagine you were William Lima in fourth position, and you see all this back and forth in front of you. You're doing a solid pace, staying in fourth throughout the race, and the guys in front are playing games.
Yeah, it does. It's not everyone's favourite thing to see. Obviously, you want drivers pushing flat out from the start to the finish as much as you possibly can. But at the end of the day, if you are that far ahead, you can do what you want with your race, pretty much. And this is only a fun series. This is not a league for any, like your main league races where. It's a short condensed season and there's a big fuss made about the winners. This is a year-long season, and of course people still want to win it. But from race to race, you can have your fun. And it does look like Lacunas is dropping Isaac a little bit here. Isaac will have a little bit. Sorry, not Isaac. Yoni. Yoni will have a little bit of damage on his car. Remember, that incident will not have. Will have affected his car. Even if the suspension arms and the geometry is slightly changed, it will affect lap time. The tyres are not pointing the way they were at the beginning, then they'll be pointing somewhere else and scrubbing time. The speed suspension model is such that if you do have toe damage or parallel steer that's different to the base setup, it will drag, it will cause drag, and it will lose you time. Across the curves we go one more time. Yoni versus Lacunas is the story of the day. as we end up with 8 laps to go. 7 laps to go.
7 laps to go, yes. Lacunas in front of True Alpha, Yoni Katia, then Isaac Price, William Lima, Mandula in 5th position, followed by Gotchki. Then we've got Antonio in 7th position, Jaroslav Donalik in 8th, Adam in 9th, and Vinzu in 10th position. So that's the running order. We have 21 cars left in this race. So we lost quite a bit of cars throughout.
Yeah, another race of attrition at Fern Bay Gold. I mean, it is one of those tracks. It's got some nasty corners in it, especially in cars that like to flip over. And when you've got the pace differential that we've seen today, you end up with a lot of lapping as well. And as you've also seen, lots of incidents and accidents.
One thing you may not forget is that whoever wins this race may pick the track for next week when the GT3s are unleashed.
Yes, so MRC doesn't just stick to one format of GTRs for its GTR Monday flavour. No, you can drive all of the different specs of GTRs throughout the season.
Now the True Alpha is closing up to Lacunas. Starting the 58th lap of the 62-lap race.
Yeah, and you're right. You do have to feel a little bit for Lima, even though he didn't go for the no stop strategy, which would have been bold. It would have been risky, no doubt. When you're pushing at race pace, you make mistakes. You pick up some artifacts on your tyres, of course. But yes, William Lima ultimately will have to settle for 4th if he can manage to hold on. And yeah, even with the shenanigans that have happened up front, he just couldn't shine a light to those guys, and neither could the rest of the field. Mandula P5 at the moment, Gojki P6, Antonio P7, Yada P8, Vinzu P9, and I nearly said Genuine Racing. I need to really get that out of my vocabulary, don't I? Sidus Unite in P10, not driving for Genuine Racing anymore. He is driving for Sidus.
Yeah, but we are talking about Genuine Racing while there is William Lima on the screen.
That is true. I'm looking at a Genuine Racing livery. Trying not to talk about Genuine Racing. So there we are. The roof of that does look a little bit like the old My 3ID livery as well. So even more confusing.
True. Well, it is an Energy Virtual Racing livery, but it was specially made for one of Genuine Racing's series back in the day. And that there is a 116 on the car. That's because that season exceeded the 110 signups.
Wow, it's been a long time since the series did that.
TRR Championship 2020.
Okay, but for a short format season, clarifying myself, sorry. It's been a while. Yeah, these battling 2 are still 3 and a bit seconds ahead of Isaac. I don't think Isaac's going to be anywhere near these guys by the end, unless they wait, which wouldn't be the first time. But we do have a race on for the lead. It's a little bit artificial, but we don't care. We like racing, and these 2 will definitely give us a show for the final 3-4 laps of this race. 3 up the line. laps 60, 61 and 62 to bring us to a close of round 6 of the MRC Monday series here on Sim Broadcasts. Apparently, according to Jonathan Palmer, our race director, Thilo, as there's a move on, is he going to go for it round the outside? He's going to try it. There's contact, a little bit of contact, and the Gutsgas just holds on. Jonathan Palmer says that GT2C 2021 got close to 100 entries. Close to.
True. With the endurance race. That was a long list on the.
That was a long list, you're right. Yes. It took us a while to go through that one.
Yes, it took 3 minutes to scroll through in the video Nova produced.
Oh, yes, of course, he included a list of all the drivers who competed. That was, yeah, you're right. The long list. Did you know we made the end credit? You know.
We were in it, yeah.
Our little back and forth.
Little back and forth.
I didn't have the heart to tell him that wasn't from GT2C, but anyway. Yeah, that was from a long time ago.
Me neither.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, Nova produced a summary video, a nice summary video of the GT2C 2021 season. And there's a few Easter eggs at the end, which weren't from GT2C. But anyway, well, one of them wasn't, the rest were. 2 to go, we've got a VSC. What's happened?
Safety car.
Tony's done something. His car looks like a... Oh, okay.
Both punctured fronts.
So we're into the realm of everybody getting punctures, even those who have pitted, which is not normally what you see. But anyway, okay. So this will be a long. Donny pitted lap 2, so we tried to go the whole race pretty much on one set. So that's pretty much proof that it's hard. I think it's safe to say to them, it's hard.
Yeah, but well, nearly made it.
Yeah, nearly being the operative word. He didn't quite make it, and he's got a long drive back to the pits, and this will mean we have a 1.5 lap dash for these two. Yesmo Sports, number 9, Vitalis Lacunas, otherwise known as the Gutsgas, leading the True Alpha for world-class lines. Yoni Katila, the Finnish driver.
Oh, Donny punctured another tyre.
Oh dear, well, he's on the bull ring now, so this is the place where you're supposed to crash.
But only between Christmas and New Year.
Yeah, only on a certain day when the moon is at its brightest are you allowed to crash at this part of the track. And only if you're Jared Mead are you allowed to win. As he pulls off onto the grass. Loco gives him a friendly peep as he drives past. And this is a slow drive back to the pit lane. There we go, eat a cone. No one's driving past. Come on, Donny, in the pits. There we go. Pulling between the yellow lines. Braking down to the speed limit. And the VSC will be over as quickly as it started. Unite has got a run on Vinzu at the restart. Across we go. Down into turn 1. Contact. Vinzu giving Unite a taste of his own medicine a little bit.
Final lap begins. Lacunas leads 0.4 of a second from Yoni Katia.
Yeah, a little bit longer format maybe because the leaders were slowing down and also we had some VSC periods, but we're looking at about an hour and 25 minutes of racing today, and it's coming to a dramatic conclusion. A battle for the lead on the final lap between Gutsgas and Yoni. 2 sectors to go. Unite's made up another place. He's just got past Leo, so he's on a charge. He's inside the top 10. We're going to stick with this battle to the death. And Yoni get past Lacunas in 4 corners. We're about to find out. Under the bridge they're going to go. The superior at this point 4-wheel drive of Lacunas's FXR. He's going to have to drag him to the finish. Yoni's going to size him up, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
Side finish?
Possibly. Yoni's not close enough to make it stick on the road. I wonder what Lacunas is going to do.
Oh, Adam, what are you doing?
Adam nearly making that a wipeout across the line. Thank you for that. But
So Lacunas wins after surviving Adam.
Yeah, that was close.
He's
I
winning
wonder what Adam
from.
was thinking there. Anyway,
Yeah, he's winning from the true alpha, who's only a beta today, as we've seen in the thread, in the chat. Sorry. Second place to Yoni Katia. Third place to the Bagheera Zero Mileage GT car driver and championship winner Isaac Price. Fourth position, Energy Virtual Racing's William Lima, who had a solid performance throughout the race. Race Green's Mandula in fifth position, in front of Conquest Racing's Godsky. Antonio finishing in seventh position, Yaroslav Donalik in eighth, and Unite recovering to ninth place finish.
yeah, he got 2 places on the last couple of laps from Leo and who else was it? Adam. Yeah.
Vinsu in 10th, then the aforementioned Leo in 11th. A sim broadcast car in 12th. Hernan in 13th, the second furtive racing driver. 14th for air support Syngenta's. 15th position, an unbranded sim broadcast TV car driven by Kid. 16th, Argentina Turismo Sierra Loco in front of World Class Lines Timo Soini. Ian Donny in 18th. 19th is Jarek Katia. 20th, Lukota for Viaduct Czech Racing. And 21st and final finisher, Pit Lane Racer. So in 22nd, but someone who sadly did not finish as the others now on the screen, Redbot for Race Green. Victor Veloso, who lost somewhere down the line, as well as 136 MPH. 25th, classified as Kick for Master Race Car. Then number 28 laps down. Zapalutsky, 27th. Hahn for Argentina Turismo, 31 laps down. Carlos, Texas. Aaron, Canobra, Minvi, Botagas, Hachiroku, and Darido. We all lost throughout this long race.
Yeah, shame to lose so many cars, but it was a fun race in the end. Yeah, my highlight has to be the battles in the midfield for sure. The ones that were clean, especially good to see Yaroslav Donnelly getting stuck in there throughout the race. Also, well done to William. Really, you have to say, best of the rest. Kept it clean. Didn't go all the way on the tyres, but drove a good race. And in the end, he finished quite a margin ahead of everybody else. You have to say, an enormous margin. In fact, almost half a minute or over half a minute ahead of Mandula in P6, who is very strong as well in the GTRs. Yes, a very good performance from our top 3. They had their own fun out there in their own class in the end.
Yes, indeed. So we don't know where next round takes us, but we know where we are going to be with some broadcast TV next time round. The GT3 cars are on the calendar for West Hill National. So I think that's a rather fitting combo on May 31st. Again, starting with qualifying at 18:30 UTC. Until then, there are 4 races you all can join every Monday. Next up are the GT3s, the NGTRs, the GT1s again, and also the GT2s in 4 weeks' time. So, that was very exciting in very, very different ways throughout tonight's event.
Yep, certainly. I'd agree.
And it was, again, something completely different compared to the first round we've been around, which also saw drama left, right, and center, but of a different caliber, you might want to say.
Yeah, certainly different calibers on show, but great to see a good turnout once again and a fun race at Fern Bay. Fern Bay always puts on a good show, never ever disappoints. I know that a lot of people will disagree with me, but it will be sad to see this current generation of Fern Bay go away eventually. It has a charm.
It has, but if what we've seen with West Hill is any indication, I think we can really look forward to what's coming up.
I really have no right to complain. West Hill was a masterpiece when that came out. So hopefully the other tracks have had a similar. Hopefully they drive as well as they do at the moment, if not better, and hopefully Fern Bay follows suit.
So that's been GTR Monday for tonight, Monday 26th of April. We've seen some astonishing pace. We've seen some very interesting scenes, and we've got some interview partners.
Yeah, we'll drag them both in. We've got interviews from Mr. Adam Brown and Jaroslav Donnelly. I actually talked about both of you, I think, in the post show, especially you, Yarda. You had a fun race, P8 in the end.
Yeah, hello guys. Well, yeah, P8. I was starting from P20, so I'm really happy. I also finished on the lead lap. I stood out of any trouble. I was not involved in any accident. Yeah, so pretty smooth race, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. I've also dragged in Zdeněk Sagash, Kid, into the commentary box. Do you have any words for him?
Hello.
Yarda, do you have any words for your fellow countryman Kid?
Wink, well, wink, I have to say that Kid was pretty lucky. I think it was lap 2 or 3, where I was bogged down in a gaggle of cars, and Kid overtook 3 or 4 cars at once. So, yeah, I was like, well, Kid, you are lucky, but I will get you. And I got him, so... But I hope Kid had a good race. Well, he finished P15, if I am not mistaken, so I hope Kid will be happy. Kid, are you happy?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I let the whole team down because they prepared a great car. The setup was really good. But then I hit the railing on the bridge entrance twice, which first I repaired under virtual safety car and got out of the pits just as the virtual safety car ended. But during the second virtual safety car, I lost a lot of time, 1.5 laps in total. And I think I could have been a bit higher, but in the end, I'm satisfied. I hope the team doesn't kill me.
Who is the team?
It's the Custard and the Cook. So I have hopefully...
For a minute then, it sounded like you couldn't remember the team name.
It's just flatmates.
I thought so. Okay. Well, anyway, yes. Enough of that. Adam, you joined late.
Yeah, I did.
You ended up somewhere near the podium at one point.
Yeah, I was kind of, I think about a minute before the qualifying had ended, I went onto Twitch and I noticed some broadcasts were streaming. And
oh, that's very late.
I noticed, oh, it's GTRs at Fern Bay 3, this can be great fun. So I hopped on the server with absolutely zero practice. I think I definitely paid the price for that because I had quite a few spins and little mistakes, but it was really fun.
Yeah. Your car was looking like a... Well, go on, Thilo.
Well, you nearly made the headlines at the very end.
What were you doing?
Oh, we were all in a TeamSpeak channel, so I was playing with them for a bit. No, playing with them a bit. Trolling.
Uh-huh.
You owe Thilo some aspirin.
Yes. Yes, you do.
Yeah, I don't know. It's always fun to be in TeamSpeak in a race like this because you don't get as bored. Although this was definitely not a boring race.
No, exactly. Give us the insight. What was going on with those three? They were having fun out there for sure.
Well, they were all slowing down for each other.
Yes, we witnessed that.
Yep. Sorry about that. It's I need to drink of water. It's very hot in my room. But yeah, I don't really know what was going on with them. I feel like they got caught up with some back markers a few times and they had to regroup.
Anyway, thank you, gents, for the interviews. Yoni, what happened at the end there?
I mean, I don't know. Red Bot just slammed brakes on the racing line. I couldn't do anything.
Yeah, we thought it was a bit strange. Maybe Redbot thought you were going to send it on the inside or something. But when you see brake lights straight in front of you, you get kind of target fixation, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I almost avoided him, but like there was like so little time. Like,
Yeah.
we do a heart attack there. Like, I never expect someone to slam brakes in front of me like that.
No, absolutely. I mean, very uncharacteristic for Redbot, you have to say. And you've overtaken him a lot of times, and I don't recall him ever having that sort of trouble. So just a one-off, hopefully, a regrettable incident for sure. But you ended up having a battle to the end with Legutskas. It's obviously not the race, not the way you wanted the race to finish or to go. Obviously, slowing down and waiting for each other is not ideal. But did you enjoy your race?
Yeah, for Red Bot, mistakes happen. We go forward. But yeah, it was nice. 3 friends on boys at the same time and having fun. So yeah, just chilling, driving, waiting for each other. I mean, it wasn't fair like when you get crashed by a back marker. So.
Yeah, that's fair enough. We saw that you kind of as soon as Isaac got his puncture, you didn't wait for him.
I mean, that's own mistake. So
yeah, that's his
that
own
doesn't
mistake, so that's fair. That doesn't count. Yeah, indeed. But glad you had fun.
Yeah, it was good fun.
Yeah, so another Monday in the books. This has been the 6th round of the GTR Monday series. As I said earlier, we will be back for GTR Monday in 5 weeks' time for round 11. But for tonight, that's been it. And thanks for watching. And I'm Thilo Falkenberg, and alongside me, Peter Butcher. Good night, everyone.
Bye.